When I think of Pritzker, I think of passion, community, and opportunity.
Community, support, and service.
Collaborative, creative, and kind.
At the end of the day, you will become a doctor regardless of what school you go to. What really makes the difference is, will this institution build the type of physician I want to be? Where it's like I'm leaving with the values and skill sets and perspectives that I want, but also with the people and experiences with people that I also really value and would really benefit from long term.
The top reason that I chose Pritzker was because of the students.
If you really want to be around people who are going to lift you up, who are going to answer your questions, who will answer your text messages.
Every single student has these very niche passions and specific interests. And so if you're like, I want to be a doctor, but I also want to get a public policy degree. I want to be a doctor, but I also want to do business. Then Pritzker is definitely the place for you.
It's kind of like choose your own adventure in a way. You can truly go into whatever you want. You can, if you want to just do curriculum and just sit there and do nothing else, you could do that if you want. But if you want to be a change maker in the community, or if you want to be an artist or do whatever, or be an advocate, it's really, the world is your oyster here.
There are so many different career paths. So it's just been kind of cool to get a vision through Pritzker, through the amazing faculty here of what my future can look like. And I think that coming to Pritzker has made me realize that not only are no doors being closed, but all these doors are being swung open for us to take advantage of. There's so much opportunity here to make the medical experience what you want it to be.
Pritzker really encourages students to pursue other passions. There's a reason we're pass now, pass later.
I think that Pritzker really just emphasizes that we're medical students, but we're also people, and we need to take time to take care of ourselves.
All of our lectures are recorded, and so you can interact. You can make your schedule what you want, so that if you need to go to a community health fair, or if you want to bake a cake to sell to raise funds for whatever cause you want, you have time to do that.
I would say one of the most powerful experiences Pritzker has offered me is volunteering at Maria Shelter, which is a homeless women and children shelter in Inglewood. And so the faculty were really, really supportive in being like, oh, you want to provide some mental health resources and mental health access to people at the shelter that you already are serving, and but being able to provide that resource for the community and have the support of staff and faculty here was really meaningful to me, and really confirmed why I'm at Pritzker and why I am connected with Maria Shelter.
I started volunteering with Girls Inc. here at Ruggles Elementary with some elementary school kids, and it's so nice to work with them. I'm really into plants. If anyone knows me, they know this. And I did a plant workshop for Earth Day with some third graders. It was so cute.
And so there's a huge alleviation of burnout because students are encouraged and even given money to pursue their extra passions, which is really awesome.
We have a club at Pritzker called Knitsker, which is kind of funny. Everything that we knit goes to people experiencing homelessness in Chicago.
I really love to do art, and just started to realize the impact that art can have on people. And I like to call it artivism. I like to include advocacy through art. With Lucero, so Latinos United for Cancer Education, Research, and Opportunities, I led a support session, or kind of a mental wellness session for survivors of cancer or currently living with cancer. And I just led the studio in painting an art piece.
So just being able to have the time to do stuff in the community, to not be in school at all hours of the day, to have time built into our schedule to do career exploration, to shadow, to see patients, to also be involved in the community if that's something that you're interested in doing, is really nice.
And I think that's something that Pritzker really is defined by, is that ability to support students in their endeavors.
If you're considering coming to Pritzker, I think you really have to care about taking care of people who are going to be underserved.
So the patient population here at University of Chicago, specifically in Hyde Park, is predominantly Black African-American patients. What I think Pritzker does a good job about is making you understand the context of the demographic.
We can see a lot of patients that the healthcare system as a whole has failed.
And that's really important to understand, of understanding the context of people's lives. And that just allows you to be a better physician. I was providing just blood pressure checks and blood sugar checks for patients and for patrons of the community that were coming through in Inglewood. And while I was taking the blood pressure of someone, the patient looked at me and just said, "I like you because you care about me." I wasn't doing anything significant. I'm just taking blood pressure, asking how they've been, do they take their medications, what do you eat today? But they just looked at me and they said, I know that you care about me. That's why I like you. And it's in those moments where I'm reminded my why. It's in those moments where I see that just that little connection with someone has a capacity for change.
A lot of schools talk about how important it is to be advocates for patients and for communities, but it seems like Pritzker really has that's like a focal point of the curriculum and of the community and of your experience here.
I just saw that Pritzker walk the walk.
We got published in Chicago Sun-Times, Chicago Tribune. We even had a student on the local news.
Communication is probably one of the most important skills that you can learn in life in any sector. I also think it's super important to communicate scientific information because a lot of the times we'll come out with new research, we'll come out with new findings, and if we aren't telling anyone about the findings that we have, like how can you have any impact on the community around you?
So I'm really grateful for them for kind of giving me that spark to get that information out there.
And so for me, breast cancer is near and dear to my heart. My grandmother was diagnosed with breast cancer, and it was like right before she passed away. So it was like a super late diagnosis. Prognosis was super poor as well. And I like kind of went into this rabbit hole of just like reading about it and like learning about it. And I found so many articles written about kind of the crisis and how it was affecting Black women in Chicago specifically. And I really wanted to write about it because I was thinking about my family and kind of our experiences with breast cancer and how Black women in Chicago have disproportionate death rates from breast cancer as well. And it actually ebbs like from geographical location. It's also by race, and it's also kind of a factor that has to do with the access to quality healthcare. A moment of me like realizing, like doing a lot of research, learning all these things and realizing like I could put all of these things that I'm reading about into one article. I really hope that in the future I can serve Black women in a similar manner and hopefully mitigate and kind of minimize the health disparities for breast cancer mortality rate.
I had never considered the possibility of something I wrote being put out there in just the newspaper, like the general public, like having someone read it. I'm a medical student, and there are a lot of other queer men that are medical students, healthcare providers, in various positions, and patients trust us to give them care in many different ways. But unfortunately, it seems like the government doesn't trust us to do something as simple as donating blood. That just really got me interested and really kind of like fired up. And I never thought that advocacy was something that I could be a part of. I never considered myself an advocate, but I really feel like the faculty here at Pritzker and my other peers around me have really pushed me to become an advocate and to fight for things that I really believe are right.
It really made me like understand the fact that like I can talk about my passions and understand that I have a voice even if I'm like not fully like an MD yet. Like I was just like so happy and proud and kind of validating that like I have a voice, I need to use it, especially for like people who look like me.
Being able to write well is not only key for research, but also for being an advocate.
Above all, I think it was the commitment that I saw in the Pritzker community to obviously do the best that they can for their patients on the individual level, but also just have a knowledge of health systems and policy and want to be able to make change at more of a broader scale.
They really see the world in us, and they really want you to be as ambitious, as driven as you want to be, and they're really supportive. They're like, whatever you want to do, we will support you, we will make sure that it's excellent, we will push you.
I have experienced a level of discomfort here at Pritzker in the very best way, that it's really pushed me outside of my comfort zone and led me to question my own assumptions, my own views on the world, my own views on other people and how I interact with them. I've seen such an acceleration in my own personal growth.
I remember on my interview day, like people are always like, oh, the community is like so great, like everyone like really supports each other. And I feel like in the interview, everyone always goes in with a healthy dose of like skepticism just because, you know, it's the interview day. Of course, they're going to tell you like what you want to hear. But after being here for a year, I can say 100% firsthand experience that that is absolutely the case, that the community here at Pritzker is unmatched.
I would recommend that people come to Pritzker if you want to have an opportunity for personal development, for career exploration, for community, for support, and just to be able to kind of develop into the position and the person you want to be. Because I feel like I've been able to not only survive medical school my first year, but also to thrive.